All right, we're gonna start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand with me and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start with public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes per person. Is there any public comment in the room?
No, I have a concern.
Oh, could you please state your name so we know who you
My
are?
name is James Wade. I've been pouring here for the last 20 years. Appreciate this little piece of heaven down here. Everything it does for everybody. I just have a concern with the lake water out there.
Okay,
It's been that way for quite a while. And I know we've tried to fix it, you know, people think we're trying hard, but it's gonna cost money to fix that.
okay.
So you're gonna have to deal with. I don't think, I don't think the Corps is gonna help you out with it, but.
Probably not.
But yeah, it's a big concern and, a lot of big ships come in here, a lot of big boats come in here, and right now, they can't get in.
Okay.
So,
Just got that fixed. But right before the meeting, I went out and got that fixed. It is tied up. Big boats can get in right now. It is just something that we're gonna have to continually work on right now and go out and do what we can. We've got some ideas for getting that fixed, but we're hoping that down the road it will end up just being replaced. So we'll have to do what we can in the meantime. And we're trying our best, Jim.
thank you.
Jim. Anybody else in the room? Hearing none, how about on Zoom? Does anybody on Zoom have a public comment? Hearing none, let's get into our agenda. First agenda item is administrative items. Approval of the minutes. Yep, commissioners, have you had a chance to look at the minutes? Move to approve the minutes as presented. Second that motion. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. Review of monthly budget report and approval of document.
Okay, let's look at the vouchers first. Voucher sheet first. Had a few big bills this month. Anderson Perry for 77,000 was the combination of the pull-through RV sites and the craft malt project. We have one debt service payment, Banner Bank 1593, the 1,379.15. That's probably the last one, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That's from the transportation building.
Excellent.
Blue Room Architecture and Design is the work the architect did to help with the building number 2 HVAC project. Mill Creek Mechanical for 16,000 as we had to replace the public transportation building's HVAC system. Second HVAC we've had to replace this year. Patton and Associates is the accounting firm we pay for the annual report. Power and Tel are fiber materials. Pro Lawn is our annual weed spraying and sterilization in the industrial park. And WBE Technologies for 52,000 are fiber materials. And Columbia iConnect, this is an add-on. It was not on the financial report you were emailed. We had paid them to do some just a fiber maintenance work in Dayton, and the bill came in late, but we went ahead and added it just so they wouldn't have to wait another month. So So any questions on these vouchers before we look at the budget report?
Doesn't look like we have any.
Okay,
Has it to be signed?
on the budget,
Those are the minutes, Scott, that need to be signed as well. Did you know that?
on the budget report, we have a couple things to talk about. One is, well, I guess this is really not this, that's later, never mind. Budget report, we are 50% through the year on expenses. And on the income side, we're not quite 50% through the year because we will continue to get revenue through the end of June. We are doing fine revenue wise, other than the vacancies that we've had come about in our industrial park and at Blue Mountain Station. So there will be some lost revenue from that this year. We're doing fine on reimbursements from projects. So I don't really have anything of interest to point to you on the income side. Neither on the expense side. Everything just fits in the categories they're supposed to. We are right on target with much of our spending. Some of it is under, some of it is over, which is very typical.
Any questions? I don't. Okay. Thank you very much.
So the one piece I wanted to share really has to do with next year, and this is a letter we got from the assessor, who happens to be here tonight. She said she's writing to inform us of a new bill that's passed the state legislature that has increased the senior disabled person's income limit to qualify for a tax reduction. This bill has also increased the amount of value that they are exempt from paying taxes on. So it means that more people will qualify for the program, and the amount that we receive for taxes in 2027 will most likely go down. Why? Because most of you are at your statutory maximum limit. Your rate cannot increase. So when taxable value goes down, the amount you receive is less. In other words, the way we receive more is when the value of the county goes up.
Or
So-
construction.
Yeah. New construction or value of county goes up. Yeah. So she believes it will be a substantial amount of decrease. So
Do you want to speak to that? Why do you think it's substantial? Because we have so many old people?
Because so many more people are going to qualify than before.
Okay.
So the maximum amount that people could make was 43,000. Okay, so that's total household income. Their limit was 43,000. So now it's 57,000. That's a huge increase. From 43 to 57. So there's going to be so many more people that can qualify. It's probably going to take a while before all of those people realize it. I put an ad in the paper, I've gone to the senior center, I've gone to the Kiwanis Club, trying to get the word out there. When we're knocking on doors, we're telling people in the cycle that we're in. And so I still think it'll take some time to get that, but when you look at all the people that are in the program right now, all of those people, there's 3 categories of income, 1, 2, and 3. And so if you're in the lowest category, you get the largest reduction. And all the people that were in category 3, the highest, are now all in category 1. So, and that's where the majority of the people are. So, it's going.
Could be.
So it's a tax shift, so, it's not going to be like everybody's gonna be paying more in taxes because of it. It's just the taxing districts are going to receive, less money. And we don't know what the increase is gonna be in the value, right now.
Right.
But I just want people to be aware of it, because it's gonna have an impact from, the years coming forward.
Thank you. Very good question. Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Tammy, do you have an idea of what the percentage, let's say, as an example, if there's 100 homes in Dayton, how many properties qualify for that exemption? What's the percentage? Do you know?
We have 189 people enrolled in the program, before this law took effect. So I can't tell you how many new people have signed up yet. But all of those 189 people are now a SC1. So, I can tell you another day when I have all my numbers, because I've done all the calculations and I've looked at the impact that it can have for an individual person in each category and what that reduction is going to be. But I didn't know that was going to be a topic, so I didn't bring anything, but I'm happy to share that.
Sure.
You know the number that would qualify, even if they haven't signed up, like max case scenario?
I don't, because I don't know, I mean,
You
just
don't
like
know
every
income.
one of you, I don't know any of you what your income is. And so, the only ones that trigger me are the people who have come in before. And I know what their income was and they didn't quite qualify, so I have to say no. So you can reach out to them and say, man, I do qualify. But as far as just don't, I really don't have that.
And that's where we get the term substantial form from, is those individuals that you know that used to not qualify, that may qualify.
No, I just think that when you look at I mean, there's county employees that are over 61 years of age that are making less than 57,000, so they can qualify.
Mhm.
So when you just look at simple things like that, there's more people in this county that could. It's a whole household income, right? So it's got to be both spouses, but if you're a single person, there's gonna be a lot more of those single people that qualify that. There's also a standard deduction now, so you would itemize. You could itemize, your deductions, your medical expenses. And now it's not just your medical expenses, but it's also your, like your Medicare premium. We can deduct that. Your supplemental insurance premiums, we can deduct that. So if you look at an individual, they might come up with $3,500 a year for just those things alone without big medical expenses. Now, if you can either choose to itemize or you can choose to take a standard, which is brand new. So 7,500 for a single, 15,000 for a couple. So that 57,000 for a couple just went to 72,000 with that 15,000 deductibles. So, I mean, you just look at yourself. I mean, everybody look at yourself and see how much am I making? Where would I fit in that? Would I fit in it?
But not everybody that qualifies is going to take that.
Absolutely not.
Right.
No, there's people that. But I'm not gonna do it because I want to pay for the school, I want to pay for the hospital. You're exempt from all excess levies.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Leases.
We have one renewal this month with Southeast Washington Alliance for Health. That is a co-working tenant, and so it's a two-year auto renewal. Same rent, the rent did not go up because we raised it last time, so, yep.
Do we need a motion for that?
No, you sign it.
While we're signing this, let's move on to the annual report.
Okay, I emailed you all that lovely long document. And you should have a copy in your packet.
It's this one, right?
That's right, that one. Yep, so, this is the document that I use for information to submit to the state, which I did on May 30th. So it is just for your information, and I'm happy to answer questions about it anytime.
Commissioner, your pleasure. Do you have any questions about the annual report?
It is extended.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, you can ask me late, I mean, we're gonna do it right now, so I didn't expect you to look, I did include it in the packet, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
I couldn't hold it.
But thank you for
Yeah.
doing the hard copy too.
You're
That's awesome.
Yeah. So next meeting, if we have questions in between time, I'd encourage both of you to go with Jenny if you have questions and sit down with her and talk to her about it. thank you for providing,
Well,
especially hard copy, so I couldn't look at it. All right, updates on port assets, Rock Hill Industrial Park.
well, we already mentioned the HVAC at Transportation Building. That was the first building I built here, so that's been about 18 years. So I guess we got pretty good life out of that HVAC unit. So the thing we need to discuss tonight is the bid from Nelson for the conference room. I put that in your packet. The total price with tax is $42,032. I have talked with them just to make sure what's covered and what isn't. The only thing that's not covered that we need to think about is that it doesn't include taking out the existing carpet and replacing it. It's very nice carpet. I just don't know if we can match it. So let's talk about money. So I have, because we were already worried about money, or not worried, but using a lot of our money to do the building number 2 project. So I went through the budget and kind of looked at income and where we have reductions in income because of tenants vacating. And then I looked at, and then where we have received extra income, more income than we budgeted. And I went through the expense side and estimated which categories I thought would possibly have excess money in the balance at the end of the year, and which ones might have a smaller balance than we had planned at the end of the year. And what the net that I came up with is that it would give us about 105,000 extra to spend, which between, and I'm talking between the HVAC and the conference room. I'm putting them together. That's total is about 160,000.
What?
That we have available on this budget with from capital improvements, extra money in consultants, extra money in architecture and engineering, and so on, that we would need to take 55,000 from our reserve. So if you look at the reserve numbers, then if I take out the money that we have set aside for the RV project, that would leave us with about 300,000 in reserve. And then we take the 55, it would be, about 245. So we only had 100,000 in reserve. So we've raised that to we always want to have 200,000 in reserve. So even if we do this, we will still have some left. It doesn't mean there aren't going to be other emergencies that come along this year. Since it's been a very interesting year. It seems like expenses are all going up and revenue is all going down. But I also don't expect us to expend all of the RV park match funds this year either, because it's not going to start till October. So I feel like we can do these. It doesn't leave us with a lot of wiggle room. We can't do anything other big, fun, expensive projects for the year. It needs to be small stuff that we continue to take care of. But that's kind of where I landed on my analysis.
The budget itself, though, what was the carryover on the budget itself?
It would be about 105. Because I went through things like, no commissioners went to the spring WPPA conference. So, we're not gonna probably spend all of our travel budget. I looked at wages. We'll probably have 10,000 extra in wages. We'll have 10,000 extra in retirement PERS, because clearly I didn't budget correctly. But I also like to budget this way. I would rather budget higher in expenses and come in lower. Probably have $3,400 left. Well, the election expense, we don't have another election expense. We budgeted 8,000 and we only spent 4,600. So there's 3,400 right there. That's what I did. Kind of went through every line, little extra in, travel. I just did we probably have a couple thousand extra. Where then I also tried to be realistic, we'll probably be over budget in utilities. So I took a little away there. Architecture and engineering, I think we'd probably have 30,000 we could use there. 30,000 out of consultants, 2,000 out of legal, I think. I don't see how we'll reach that, and then 40,000 out of land and capital improvements, 15,000, that's too high, I figured that out. About 10,000 out of debt service, so
So we can squeak by.
we can squeak by with these two if you would like to continue with what with what we wanted to do in the conference room. Yeah, you've already approved the HVAC project, so we're doing that either way, which is really,
Five.
that was 114.
Oh, one first.
Yeah,
That one.
yeah, very painful,
That one.
extremely painful. HVAC costs have just skyrocketed.
It's insane.
Mhm.
Great.
So, yeah, so this is a small enough project that if we had budget for it, I wouldn't even bring it to you. But because of the budget concerns, I felt like it was better that we discussed it and you decide if you want to go ahead and proceed.
And the 114, we were taking that out of our current budget, not out of,
Mostly out of our current budget, a little bit out of reserve. So this just adds a little bit more to what we're taking out.
So-
But our reserve we had extra in it.
and the total reserve that you're talking, taking out with both projects was the 55 or?
About 55 or 60, yeah, I think I wrote 55 from reserve, yeah.
I don't want to minimize this. But when I look at the work that will be done, we put that together and the benefit that we'll get out of it. Compared to $114,000 for an HVAC system, it's like, are you kidding? I know it sounds. It's not the same, it's not apples to apples, but. I actually think this bid is a very good bid, don't you?
Yeah, I did too, I sure did. No, I think it helps having them working on, it's the same company working on the
Yeah. No,
mobilization and such. Although they probably can't do this until, they're gonna start on the HVAC after the 4th, and they probably won't do this till August. Conference room.
And when's our budget cycle? Again, remind me,
We adopt our new budget in November of each year.
and it starts January.
Yes, and then it starts in January.
I always get confused because I'm on a
Oh, yeah, you're
different
right,
time
yeah,
clock, so I'm like
Yeah.
from July to,
yes, we are January to January.
that's right, okay.
Yeah.
So we just gotta make it through the year, knowing that, it's gonna be tight. And if other stuff gets brought to us that is gonna be, unless it's a merchant,
Right,
it's probably gonna have to get.
unless
kicked
it's
down the road.
emergent, typical maintenance, because we still have a maintenance budget. It's not taking anything out of the maintenance budget.
You're looking for approval?
I think just verbal approval
It's
is.
fine, yep, that's
And
fine.
we don't need to vote on it.
Nope.
I'm just looking for consensus.
Will it interrupt, so any of our meetings, are we gonna have to move?
I would say it will likely interfere with one, because they said 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So we were kind of hoping we could do it during this one, but it didn't work out. Yeah. 'cause we're
That
here.
would've been handy.
So we'll just have to have another offsite fun meeting in
Yeah.
August or September. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely reasonable for what I see on paper.
And we've wanted to do it for so long. It's pretty exciting.
Well, I think it's very important that we can accommodate our public.
Yeah.
at our meetings.
Benefits good.
So consensus?
Yeah, I'm good.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
All right, thank you.
All right, Lyons Ferry Marina.
Okay. Well, concessionaire update. I guess I'll just let Joanne be the
Okay,
talker today.
thank you for coming and joining us out here at Lyons Ferry. It's traveling in, but a lot more people close by coming out. So business is staying fairly, we're seeing less in boats, and I think that has mostly to do with the gas prices. But other than that, it's looking really good. We have had an exciting find here recently, and I do want to introduce one of my employees and let him tell you folks about what was just recently found here, Jordan.
Hi. Just started working here about a month ago.
Mhm.
I'm from Louisiana and bit of a nomad. I've lived all over the world. Hey, you see here? Okay. I've lived all over the world and I'm kind of an amateur treasure hunter. I'm part Native American, Aztec. My ancestors from the Yucatan. So I looked up the area before I came here and read about the Marms rock shelter and was fascinated. And before I came here, I was like, I'm gonna find some treasure, you know. I didn't think I would find what I found, and I was fishing. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. I was
No.
fishing.
This is Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Monday.
Monday.
Monday. I was fishing not far from here, and I was looking for minerals because I'm also a rock hound. I love collecting minerals in different zones, and I look on the eroded shoreline, and there's rocks. You can see them sticking where it's been eroding over time. And what I saw was something white, and my inside, my spirit was like, "That's a skull," and I was like, "No way, that can't be a skull, right?" So I get out of I park the kayak and I go up and I wipe my hound of it, and bones came out of the side of the ground, and there was a jawbone. And I didn't know it was human at first. I had no idea. It was what it is, what they think it is. So I contacted the authorities because I'm not a grave robber and I don't want to disrespect any type of natives around here out of respect to their lands, you know. And it was really weird because the teeth were flat. They were filed down. So my wife said, "Oh, that's a cow." I said, "This is not a cow." And I can show you guys a picture of it. Basically, why it's flat is because early humans used their teeth as their third tool.
Yeah.
It was like their third arm. So they would chew on it and called the cops. They came, they thanked me, and they also said, "Don't you can press the side if the picture goes off." They said, "You know, we're glad you returned this because usually people will look for treasure and keep digging." And an archaeologist came the next day.
Oh, wow.
A team of archaeologists were here yesterday. And one of them, the lady said, "Wow, this is huge. This is a huge, this is a big deal, you know." And she said, it's human and it's really old and it's massive. It's like up to my jaw. It was like this, like a giant's.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, it's huge. And it was fascinating for me. I wasn't scared or anything. Usually people might be scared, but you could tell it's really, really old, you know, and it's fascinating.
Didn't they tell you they thought estimate wise that it was older than the Kennewick Man?
They said that it's very, very old. They don't know. One of the ladies said they were going to test it, but then another guy told me that they don't know. They're going to return it to the natives, and it's up to them what they do with the remains. But it was absolutely fascinating. When I told my manager, he didn't realize it was old, and he said, "Please tell me it wasn't on the property." Yeah. I told my wife to say, "Tell him it's not on the property." And,
Whether it's old or not, we don't want it on this.
yeah, exactly. No one would. I mean, but it's really, really old, and I think it's just amazing. And out of respect for the natives, I'm glad that, you know, they're going to return to them, and we'll see what goes from here. This one person said they were going to test it. A different paleontologist, seemed like he didn't really care that much about it. Where the other girl was like, "Wow, this is a huge thing." And he was like, "Oh, this happens around here. We're just going to give it back to them. We're not going to test it." The other lady was like, "This is a huge deal. Like, we're going to test it." So we'll see what happens. I think it's amazing. Could you imagine if it was the oldest remains in North America?
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, I don't care about claiming it, but it would be nice to name after my last name, the Borges man.
Yeah, there we go.
I told them I won't go back. They said, "Don't go back." Obviously, it's $100,000
Don't tell
fine.
anybody where it is.
Yeah, don't tell
Right.
anyone where it is. Don't geotag it. I won't. And
Right.
yeah, so
Wow.
I don't share with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Were you like,
I had a lot of adrenaline because I found some pretty amazing things around the world, but I've never found like an ancient skull before. Yeah, it's fascinating. I read about it online, and I always look in the deeper meaning of things. And some people would think that it's a bad omen, but actually in like history, if you find something like that and return it, it's actually like a symbol of like, think about your ancestors, and it's a very powerful thing. So
Mhm. Yeah.
amazing. I'm happy. It's just, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
It's on my screensaver.
Wow.
Excellent.
I'm just impressed how you hold your enthusiasm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of a wait and see, but he plans on keeping in touch with the archaeologist. So they'll let us know what they find out and we'll feed information to Jenny.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
Well, and Joanne has been working with another group that has expressed interest in purchasing the business. I thought maybe he was gonna come tonight, but he did not.
Yeah.
I contacted Nathan, who's the broker, and he said they're still working through things, so
Mhm.
I don't know what that means. What do you think, Joanne?
They are very interested. They're just dotting some i's and crossing some t's before they come up with the contract. So I think that's kind of where we are right now.
Okay.
You feel
Anything,
positive about it.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
so regarding the breakwater, I thought maybe I'd weigh in on that a little bit. Our go-to, we've been keeping the breakwater together for almost 20 years. It's very old. Its condition has not worsened, I don't think.
Yeah, it has with that windstorm this winter.
Yeah,
what
but,
broke it
but
apart.
it's not having Bob Gemmell is what it is.
No.
So Bob Gemmell is the person who always came and fixed it for us, and he was also a diver. And Bob is retired, so we have got to find somebody else to come and dive and do the work. Have you called North Idaho Marine?
No, I have
Okay.
not contacted
So we
them.
need to call North Idaho Marine. They're the ones who came and fixed all the docks out here. So, I will-
Kyle. Oh,
well, yeah, Kyle dives. That's what I was wondering about Kyle. It would be really great to have somebody local. We might
Kyle
ask
from Kyle,
Yeah,
okay.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Not only
From Hart
does
County.
he do, interesting fix-it work, but he dives.
Okay,
Excellent.
Yeah. So why don't you start with Kyle?
Okay.
Start with Kyle
can do that.
and, I can help you with that if you want me to, and
Sure.
then we'll go from there and get it. So it is on the long-term plan for hopeful replacement. This is something we will talk about when we do our comp plan discussion tonight, is when we did the facilities plan. The decisions, the order of things, the decision that was made was the pull-through RV sites because it allows them to stay okay away. Then sea moorage and the boat launch, then the breakwater.
And this is more just general maintenance, to be honest, right? I
Yes.
mean, it wears out.
Yeah, and the little parts and
chain,
pieces in
tape.
between them, the chains, the wood, yeah, it does, yeah, we need somebody to just come and really do,
Maintenance.
yeah. Joanne's had more trouble with the barges going through really, really fast. I have on my list of things to do to call the Coast Guard and talk to them and see if there's something they can do. Because there is a speed limit, it just makes such a giant wake.
Yeah.
The day we were out here doing the Corps of Engineers inspection, we were standing on the breakwater when one of the barges when the wake came over, and you just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're huge.
it was just rocking it, and it was just shaking it around, so. I don't know if they're going faster, it just seems worse.
They're heavier, maybe.
I don't know, it seems worse,
Mhm.
so. Anyway, I just wanted you to know that's, something Joanne and I've been talking about all spring, but we've got to find a Bob Gemmell replacement. That's our problem. He was pretty good at fixing all that stuff. Yeah. And he knows where all the underwater
More.
giant anchor things are and yeah, so.
All right.
Okay, and then the RV project, we are working on design now while we wait for the Corps to do cultural resource study. Makes me wonder if the people that came out and looked at the skull were the same people working on the cultural resource study here. Cause it was the Corps of Engineers, I believe. Anyway, 60% plans are due, to the RCO on July 31st. And so that is what Anderson Perry is working on right now. We can work on design at the same time we wait for the cultural resource study. You just can't disturb any ground. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Joanne?
I think that's it unless anybody has any questions.
Looking great here. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, yes. Those are nice.
Been through.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to remind you, there's a navigation buoy on the end of that right quarter. So a call to the Coast Guard might help, help you out with that. I don't know. They are responsible for maintaining navigation on the waterway, so.
I knew they were responsible. The question the Corps and I went back and forth with was whether or not there's a speed limit. My understanding is there is.
There is,
When
and
they
it's,
go past
yeah.
a facility like
They're
this.
responsible for the weight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, Wally called them on it, I think Shaver. Text, and, they said, yes, they'll take care of it or whatever, but. That was
Mhm.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anything else that you want to share?
Just that. Well, number 2, we have 2 wells out here and the pump failed in well number 2, so we just spent $16,000 on that. There's a line item on the budget for it or for repair, so we use the marina line item to pay for that little jewel.
We, I say when the port designed the wells, when they put them in, they had, because the first well here is for irrigation and the upper well is potable water, but we test both of them. In case something happens to the upper one,
So they're
we
both
can turn,
considered potable water.
yep. So we can turn a lever in the lower one and feed that well to the potable waters. And that's what we had to do. And I think that's the first time we've ever had to do it. And boy, were we saying, thank God they did this. You know?
Yeah, it was a good design. And
Yeah, it
we're very
was.
lucky out here. We don't have to chlorinate the water
No,
and always have good tests come back. So,
Excellent.
yeah,
All right,
that's all I've got on the marina.
all right, Blue Mountain Station.
Okay, so first is that we've had another tenant give notice. That's Ray's Roast. They were one of my originals, so they've been there for about 12 years, I think. They are not closing, apparently, because Alicia Walker bought the business
Oh,
when Regina retired. And she's been operating it for the last year, 2 years. And so, our understanding is she's gonna move the coffee business downtown to the Woody's building.
okay.
Now,
But she's not gonna continue to.
not at Blue Mountain Station. Now, I will see how that goes because it does not smell very good when you roast coffee.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people complain, and it also puts out ash.
Yeah.
That we've had to always keep an eye on and clean up. So hopefully that won't be a problem in downtown Dayton. But anyway, that's,
I think they have one in downtown Wakefield.
Do they?
All the time.
you don't smell it.
I mean, it smells like coffee, but.
Well, to me, it's different. See, some people think it smells, some people think it smells like coffee and some people think it smells terrible. So it kind of depends on the
I think
person.
it smelled like creosote.
Yeah.
And I love coffee.
I'm close to the one in the airport in Walla Walla, and it does not smell like coffee. Not at all. Yeah.
All right,
Okay, and then the main stem malt, we've had a ton going on. We have a water pressure issue at the site because the city made us put in a pressure reduction valve when we built the industrial park, business park there, and now there's not enough pressure for the fire sprinkler system that is required in the craft malt building. So I've talked to Ryan at length and they will allow us to turn up the pressure because it's only at like 55 right now. And the legal limit is 80. But when you turn it up, then you put the existing fixtures and faucets at risk. So the other option would be to bypass the pressure reduction valve and go straight from the water in Wagon Road to the craft malt facility. Which you think the HVAC was bad. I mean, the price that they're quoting for putting a water line from there to the new building is like $495,000. It's just ridiculous. I just want to have a farmer come dig me a trench and put a pipe in it.
but Ryan believes we can turn up the pressure.
If we're willing to take the risk on the buildings.
Well, but most like hot water heaters, the relief valves, like 115 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you risk the most is a
yeah.
hot water tank getting hammered.
I worry about the irrigation system, but there's also the opportunity, the other thing we're exploring is the opportunity of putting a small pressure reduction valve at the locations of each of the two buildings, the other two buildings. So that's all still being analyzed on what is the right thing to do. It has caused a lot of activity for the last 14 days because we were supposed to go out for bid this month.
Yeah.
And would still like to, but this is put a kink in it. So there'll have to be an add-on or something. Once we figure out what we want to do, they'll have to put an add-on to the plans.
Do you have a meter at each building?
Yes, well, the city has a meter.
The city.
Yeah,
So
Did he have
you
to be in
need
each
to add a pressure reduction valve at each meter site.
if they can be small. I mean, the one that we $40,000
Yeah.
15 years ago,
But it's on a
it's
main,
big.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's on a main.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's very, and we also could just try it and see what happens. See if every faucet explodes or not. I just don't understand it, because if the law is 80, why can't we? I'm with you, why aren't things designed to take 80?
I've dealt with the water system in Wall and College Place because they're interconnected. Sounds like you're way under pressure
Mhm.
for residential
Mhm.
to handle up to like 60, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Most residential 55.
Yeah,
75.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we're at huge risk.
Yeah. Okay,
That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert.
yeah, so I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said we're gonna hold into it.
Okay.
It's in the minutes, right? Tracy?
Yeah. And then the other big issue with them is that, they received a grant from the federal government, USDA, to move the equipment that, we purchased, they and we purchased together, that is stored in Ohio. And the federal government has changed the deadline on it and moved it up 6 months. Well, the building is not going to be ready by the end of December.
Right.
So, they would like to, because the equipment has to be moved and at least a portion of it operational. So they would like to use Blue Mountain Station Building number 2 to hook up the kiln and to one of the kilns. I've sent them the building specifications and it's tall enough for the kiln, but not tall enough for I don't know if it's a sprouting, I can't remember what piece of equipment it is where they sprout the barley. So that would have to be located outside. They're still, analyzing whether or not it can work. So I had a conversation with the pasta company because they are raising money to move into building number 2, which is very exciting. And I did not want to hold them up. I told them they were my first priority, but that I needed to ask on schedule. And Barry finally got back to me and said, waiting until next spring is just fine. He's got two things he's raising money for. So their goal will be to come next spring.
Perfect.
So, yeah, so, we'll see how it works with Phil moving in there, but he'll pay rent. He wants to rent the whole building. So that will actually help give us a little more income. And, we just got to see if we can make it work. It would be extremely handy to have it there. He really wants it there because then you can just move it right into the new building. Yeah. I showed him we talked about the, Ace Automotive building also.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a floor drain.
Oh.
And even though we could cut the concrete and put one in, the USDA would consider that ground disturbance, which would trigger NEPA, which could never be done by December. So building number 2 is really the best option.
Well,
So,
there was an existing floor there. I've seen.
yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
I was in there this weekend, Friday, they're there,
Sorry.
whatever.
So
day
we're
it is.
trying to work that one out. Yeah, I think that's been most of got the building plans. I'm going through the specifications. I've got the finish, what it's gonna look like, the color and all that stuff, and I was going to print it out and bring you a copy, and we had printer troubles today, so I will email it to you so you can see what the interior finishes and the exterior will look like. So it's coming along, it's good. That big deal. Oh, and the other thing we had to do, I'm sorry, we had to do Anderson Perry thought for sure that we had done a geotechnical study out there when we built the project, but we didn't. So they had to go dig 3 test pits and 2 of them were in the pea field.
Oh,
So I had to work that out with the farmer and we'll probably have to reimburse him for the cost of peas, and it's not a very big area. I actually went and measured it so that I would know, so I can work that out with him. So it's been an eventful craft month, I have to say. And then the HVAC project, I think I told you work will begin after the 4th. So that is on target.
Perfect. How long will that take, Denny, the HVAC?
Ooh, I forgot to ask him that today. I don't think it's too long, probably about 4 weeks.
2 days. to turn it down.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Denny. Anything else on Blue Mountain Station?
No.
All right. Our CWW Railroad.
Okay, well. Unfortunately, Commissioner Watts missed our fun railroad tour. We rode the caboose, Johnny, from Walla Walla to Prescott.
And donuts.
3 hours.
You even had donuts and you missed out.
No offense, but that's probably my most item that I wish I would have gone on.
I'm sure.
Chair, but,
I'm sure. I'm
it
sure.
just did not work out.
Yeah, we know that. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, but that's good. That's
Yeah, it was
trip.
good too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the other commissioners think. I did want to talk about Paul's grant proposal before we're done, but tell us about the tour.
I thought it was an excellent tour, very educational, learned more about railroads and railroad tracks and ties than I ever thought I needed to know. But it was good, and it was very good to see what we own. I was amazed. So.
I have to agree. I mean, I learned a lot about railroads that I had no clue as far as how they were built and the age. That's what surprises me more than anything. Is
Yeah.
that you would think, I was talking to my mom about, anyway, long story short, you'd think that the rails would be, 1940s, 1950s, 1930s, 18s, 1900s. I mean, these things are old and they're still viable and still able to use them. So it's very educational. I really enjoyed speaking to all of the employees.
Yeah.
They were very
Oh,
informative. And speaking with Paul was extremely informative and asking questions about the trains and things like that. I really enjoyed it and it was well worthwhile.
Good.
Well worthwhile.
And it needs money put into it, as much as we get the grants and it needs the money. That there's some sections there that were pointed out to us. They had a fire, I don't know, last year, was it last year?
Yeah.
2 years ago. That burnt through by, what is that result out there?
Heritage.
Heritage. That damaged a bunch of ties and they need to be replaced. And then there's some rails right as you come through the S curve into Prescott that need to be replaced. And Jenny will talk about the grants are going after to put that into effect. So hopefully we can continue to work with the operator and us and get those grants and keep improving our railroad.
It enlightened me that way as well.
Yeah.
In knowing, the conditions and the repairs that are needed, which is what we had talked about. And it's a long wheel, and there's a lot that could be done. And then if we want to use it eventually or have it being used for tourism, then there's a lot that we would be doing. That the economic benefit, I think, is huge. I've said that now for years.
The other insight that I heard was they're starting to haul grain. They're having to hand the cars off to BP, is that right?
UP,
UP.
UP at Walla.
But he's talking about over 1,000 cars coming out of Prescott. Wasn't that right? Yeah.
Because the grain growers is building a pile, making room for another pile in Prescott, because they're expecting a massive bumper crop again this year, and they're gonna do it in Prescott, which means they're planning to rail it to Wallula.
Which is fantastic.
It
for
is,
them.
yeah, he's not making a lot of money on that endeavor right now. He said partly it's because they had to buy cars and UP charges so much, but volume helps, more volume, more revenue, and it reestablishes that pattern that had been kind of abandoned, so that's a good thing.
No, I had very positive information from all their employees and Paul, and I thought it was a great trip. Thank you for setting it up.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
Yeah, so you want to hand one of these down to Commissioner Watts? Did you guys bring your grant
I
thing
did
with you?
bring it,
Okay, I've
but-
got a couple extra. So, go ahead
I
and
couldn't
pass.
really understand it when I
Well,
saw it.
I talked to Jared about it when we were on the caboose. Because I wasn't sure what he was saying either, because
Yeah.
Paul talks like an engineer. No offense to any engineers in the room. So what he's proposing on this document, it doesn't show all of it, but the top line, Chrissy, they're gonna apply to DOT, US DOT for a Chrissy grant, which would be 16.6 million. But unbeknownst to me, most of it is not for our line. It is for the Walla Walla to Wallula section, which is owned by UP but operated by Paul.
And
So the-
some up towards Milton Freeway.
Yes, yes. So the Port of Columbia portion is 3.232 million, 3,232,550. And I think they said that Chrissy requires a 20% match, so that's $646,510. They would like to ask DOT for a loan, a FRIB loan for that $646,510. So 2% interest, so it's almost free money. But the part that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up is that they said the port has to be the one to apply for the loan. And I said to Jared, what revenue will we make the loan payments? You pay us almost no rent. There is no revenue to make the loan payment. So, there's more in here where they were talking about using 161,000 of it for the FRAP grant, which, no, they're gonna ask the FRAP grant, ask FRAP for money for match. I wasn't sure how the FRAP mixed in with the FRIB. But anyway,
All I heard was.
these are, yes, so here is my thought. In my lease proposal that the attorney is still working on, we are still going back and forth trying to make sure we have what we want to present to CWW. In that lease proposal, the port would take back management of the right of way. Now, this is not something we can do on our own. I've done it on my own before and it was impossible and it didn't get us ahead at all. So the only way we can do that is if we pay a railroad management company to help manage it with us, which means we then would pay them a fee. I think it's about 15%. But that would generate about $20,000 a year in revenue. And then if we had the rail operator pay us, he pays us $4,000 a year rent right now. Let's say 5,000 needs to go up. We would have $25,000 in railroad revenue. And my original proposal was that we make it very similar that we do with the marina, which is to dedicate in the lease and in the budget, the port budget each year, $20,000 to be used towards whatever the rail operator thinks it needs to be used for. But not the port doing work because of prevailing wage, supplies, buy ties. Buy, $20,000 is a lot, buys a lot of ties or buys a lot of rock.
Yeah.
So my thought is if this is what Paul wants, that's what the $20,000 would have to be for.
Yeah.
Would be the debt payment, because there isn't any other money to make that debt payment. Unless we decide we're gonna take it from some other port line of business.
So Tracy and I were, and you were too, riding with Dan. And he had some revenue ideas. And I don't know that I want to talk about him in public,
Okay,
so I would like to meet with you and talk to you.
Sure.
And he says most lines are doing this, this and this to create revenue.
things that are feasible for us to do, you think? Okay.
And he says, I'm guessing Paul, because he wanted to buy it, was afraid to do those things. That might make.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, it's making the people that actually use the right of way pay for it.
Pay for it.
Yes.
And when they damage it,
And that's one of the things I was very upset with Paul about, because he's not been doing it. That was the deal. When he took the right of way over, he was supposed to do that, yes.
and as we were driving along after we got out of the caboose and then with the
I rail,
high rails, I want to call them high rails, I don't know why. But anyway, we're in the high rails, he was showing damage that farmers have done.
yeah,
Grabbed it accidentally, I'm sure, with farm equipment and moved tracks and.
Yep.
And he says, when they do that, they should pay for that.
yeah,
And right now,
Absolutely.
Paul's paying.
Yeah.
To fix it, so, and that's not right. If you ran into my car, I expect you to pay for it.
anyway, they weren't actually asking us to get a loan yet, but this was the start of it. So I just thought we should maybe touch base on it.
Hey, he said they were gonna apply for
The Chrissy
Chrissy
grant, they're
grant
applying for
by
that
June.
no matter what, by the
Yeah.
end of June. That's the one I wrote the letter of support for.
Yeah.
And when I asked Jared, what if we can't do the loan? He said, well, then CWW will be on the hook for that match.
okay,
They'll have to cover it.
Cover it.
So,
okay,
yeah, so we put $20,000 in on the last PrAP grant they did. We did that 2 years ago.
sure, when you.
And we had sold a railroad siding, so that was the funding that we dedicated, yeah.
They had mentioned, I had asked a question about grants and they basically said they're applying for grants all of the time.
Yep, it's very different now that they have Jared, it's much better.
So that's.
They did not used to as much,
The
yeah.
red-haired young
Yep,
guy.
the young, red-haired younger guy, he's the one I'm working with on the 124 crossing, where we got the $1.6 million grant, yeah.
Excellent.
And apparently there are grants like the DOT, there are grants that they can't apply for that we can
Yep.
apply. for.
Yep, and we've done that before.
So that partnership is pretty
Really
nice.
important.
Oh, it's very important,
I
yeah,
mean, like really, really nice that
Yeah.
we could work out that.
Yeah.
Because of, again, the repairs that we saw that are needed, that this is gonna go on.
Yeah.
For a while.
well, that 124 crossing, that was something DePort had to apply for,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. They
That's
put-
huge.
He
That's a
couldn't,
big- That's a
yeah.
$1 million,
that 1.6.
yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
So.
Yep,
anyway,
with
yeah,
no
very-
match, that's a big one, yeah, those are safety. They're, because it's a
Safety,
crossing, they're more
yeah.
safety, yeah.
So I like the thought process of
Mhm.
everybody working together for that, because it's so important.
Yeah. Okay, well, so you've got this in front of you, so we'll put it on the back burner until we hear more from Paul about that, I guess.
You have any questions, Johnny, that we could answer? I wish you could have been.
Just
there.
ask
I
me a
understand.
question about the railroad ties.
Well, we've been, so I've been, man, chewing on a lot of this information for the last 4 years with lots of conversations and lots of reports and lots of this.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty familiar with what's wrong with it, what the costs are, what we need to do to get it to, the grain, what we need to do to get it to passenger I mean, I've been a part of all those conversations. I just kind of wanted to go for a ride.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, so, no, it's good. A lot of the information, man, the research that we've done over the last
Oh,
4 years on
Yeah,
that
I've been
has
there.
been,
Huge.
pretty
A
incredible.
lot of reports that Jenny put together was talk about informative, my God.
Yeah, and that's the work that we've been doing. So it's like,
That was pretty good.
so I'm glad you guys got that information out of that and kind of and able to put your mind or your eyes to the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Commissioner Watts, they offered when we got done, they said, if you want to go, they'll take you
Yeah, I'll reach
time.
out to them and take a.
If you want to,
Well,
it's totally up to
You
you.
can ride on the engine, not at the.
Yes, they have one seat on the engine, you could just do that, that probably wouldn't be very hard for them to accommodate.
No, I will reach back out.
They
to
might
them.
put a safety vest on you to pretend you're a worker.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Make you get out and switch a switch or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Super cool.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you, staff, for all your,
Yeah, very much so.
all right, broadband.
Okay, so that one, we've gotten all the bid, what do you call it, bid bond and, information back from Blue Mountain Tel. And so I've sent them a notice to proceed. So they are working on, permits. They have to get a permit from the county for the Crawl Hollow section and then a permit from Starbucks for the Starbucks section. He says he's gonna start on the Crawl Hollow section. We do have a property issue in Starbuck we've been working on. I met with Kim today, and of course, it's related to old railroad property. It is. We have found a survey that shows that UP deeded the property to this landowner. But it's going to depend on whether or not the Two Cannon Street, whether it came before the rail, what happened back in 1890, 1870. So the grant can pay for it. We just went ahead and ordered a full title report. And Kim suspects that both the city, or the town, I should call it, both the town and this landowner are going to end up with interest in the street. But this landowner is fine with an easement, for the fiber. That's not the problem. It's just, how do you enter into an easement with somebody that you can't find proof
Of
who owns the property? So that's what we're working on. So I talked to the landowner today and said, can we just proceed? Since you're in favor of it and we're sorting it out, can we just proceed? And she said, of course. So it's not gonna slow anything down. We just may have to, have her grant us an easement for the fiber in that spot.
Excellent.
Yeah. Lots of very positive response from Starbuck on the fiber. It really has been.
So what are the
Interesting.
big reels of?
This is a different fiber project that is unrelated to us, but they've got a easement from the Corps, but it's outside of the marina leased property, but right along the edge. And it doesn't have an off-ramp for the marina, unfortunately.
But they did show me where the box was and I don't have enough
Okay.
knowledge to go into the box. Got a wire down here. Yeah.
In the dead of night.
Uh-huh.
But I have talked to Petrichor about how in the world we can take advantage of this, because it's more like a fiber transmission line, it's going from long distance to long distance. But we sure would love to tap into it if we could, so I've talked to them about it and they know the company but yeah, they came down from Washtenaw. I think they're going to the dam. Do you know where they're going? Are they going to the dam?
I don't know.
They're not going past Starbuck.
Last I heard, that fiber line is supposed to meet right over here, and the other junction that runs all the way to Wall.
Oh, which
Lyons-
junction?
Lyons Ferry Road.
Going all the way to,
Oh, Lyons Ferry Road?
yeah. It's supposed to go all the way to Wall from what they told me, but
Oh. That is
may go
interesting.
farther than that. The section they're working on is all the way to Wall.
Okay, well, I think the dam has something to do with it, yeah. Anyway, that is,
Two companies not talking.
the only other thing I wanted to talk about with fiber is that, we get a mailer at the port every week from Spectrum offering us some fabulous new deal where you get 3 phone lines and free internet for life and so on and so on. They are really trying to take customers in Dayton. So Tracy, pull up the history of the number of customers that are using our system. For 910 users. And we are down to 777. So we're down about 133. And it's very interesting. They haven't all gone to Spectrum. We just got a phone call from one this week who's T-Mobile. And, so there are lots of different options out there. But I also noted that Columbia iConnect is down just about 12. Pocket iNet's the same, and it's really Emerge Inland that's down 126. So they're the ones that have lost some of the customers. So
I've gotten flyers out my house. Hook up the fiber. Really? I'd love to. Where?
right. So that costs us about 30,000 a year less in revenue from those, losses. So I just thought that was interesting, because remember I budgeted like 200, I can't remember what I budgeted, and we came in under budget last year, and I was like, what happened? Well, this is what happened, so. Just a little piece of information.
Question on that. Since we don't control what Columbia iConnect or any of these companies offer or do, it's really up to them what
Yes, it is.
revenue
Absolutely.
is and not.
Yes,
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
it is. And I think that, you know, like Spectrum offers TV. Well, it's streaming. It's just, but they're bundling things, they're bundling things, which makes some people very happy. It's very attractive. But you are exactly right. It depends on.
Just never
Yeah.
rolls out.
But you're exactly right, Scott. It is up to the ISP to decide what they offer. Yeah.
I have REA internet out there. And my phones work just fine over internet, and I don't pay for it.
Right,
Just have an internet service.
exactly. It's just like,
Streaming on my TV and
right,
computer,
exactly.
and I
Yeah.
hooks up to my Wi-Fi when I'm home.
Right.
Phone, I'm like, why would you have to bundle that?
Well, it's just I think in some cases it's a cost savings,
Right.
but then for some people it just seems easy. So
Okay.
anyway, they're just they have marketing money that our local companies do not have. So I was just shocked at how often we're getting mailers, and it'll say free internet for life. It's like, oh my gosh. Read the fine print, please. Please, people, read the fine print.
Might I add that Spectrum, although I will say is notoriously predatory. And so they will get you in at the bundle price. And then within a year after that bundle price has gone up. So we started, because I live in Walla Walla, we started at $89 a month, and we are now at over 200. And so it's so it's a matter of time before our residents figure out, and they'll be like, they'll be back to one of the locals. Yeah.
All right. Community and economic development.
Okay, so I have the hot sheet that I gave you in your packets that we can refer to for some of this. So Project Noodle, I already gave an update. Project River Spark are working on, they made it through the first hurdle in their RFP process, and they're working on an air permit and the transmission corridor decision. They're trying to decide which corridor to use. So that is progressing, slowly but progressing.
And we're talking this sheet, right?
Yep. I was talking Project River Spark.
Right.
And then Project Sprout has reemerged as a very hot prospect. I have had several meetings with them this month, virtual meetings. And I had referred them to WEDFA for financing almost a year ago. No, December, not a year ago, December. And they are working with WEDFA now on financing, which is exciting. And are working on negotiating for a potential site purchase here. They seem very serious. They came and met with our local legislator from Ritzville with Senator Schessler, and so we'll see what happens. But I've been working with them a lot, and they're very grateful for my knowledge of the area. And then Project Spain is new, and this is a utility that is working on a renewable energy project. Their report to me, this is something that probably wouldn't happen until 2033, but it takes a long time to develop. So they're working on transmission line corridor. They said they're being met with resistance from landowners on the transmission line permission, but landowner acceptance, I spelled landowner wrong, landowner acceptance of turbines being located on their property. So pretty typical.
Yeah.
So, but that would be a $600 million investment here, which would be a very big deal. 10 jobs. The Project Sprout would be a lot more jobs. That'd be 20 to 40 jobs. Anyway, so that's a new one that I've added to the list. I don't know how often I'll have updates, but I have developed a relationship with them now and know who's doing what. And so I will keep trying to keep up on that.
Thank you.
I'll let Shane talk about his projects when it's his turn. I did want to talk about the ADO contract. I think I told you they cut again. So we're down to about 41,000. They have given us a one-time opportunity to create 2 case studies and turn them into the state to earn a little bit of that money back, but it is a one-time offer. And so Shane is working on those. It's because we said yes, of course. It's just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense because they already have this whole list of deliverables for us to meet for that amount of money, and they keep cutting the money, but they don't cut the deliverables. And then now they've added another layer of something we need to do. But anyway, so, here's my notes I was looking for. So we'll go ahead and do it. But next year, we just take the hit, take the hit big time. We also had a meeting this week with WIDA's lobbyist, and the state budget just continues to look worse and worse. And so there's really no hope of trying to get the money restored at this point. So we are subsidizing the economic development work, the port is, by massive amounts of money. Because out of that 40, 10 of it goes to the chamber, 5 of it goes to the club, 1750 goes to SBDC. So there's not much left. So we're basically paying for the program ourselves. I'm happy to do it, but it's just, it's just been they're really hurting us, they're really hurting us. Yeah. Another one of those situations where the money just keeps going down. So before I would sign another contract with them, they're going to cut their deliverables. They don't get to cut the money in half and expect the same amount of work. Because it's now reporting time. I mean, it's besides the 2 case studies that Shane has to do. Yes, we have to do all of our end of year reporting. We have to do a best practices report. I mean, it's huge. So lots of hurdles they have us jump through. Let's see. So I talked about that. I wrote a letter of support for a grant that the rural, I can't remember what they're called. It's a rural group that helps really, really small towns. So I did that for Starbucks. They're applying for some technological updates for their city. I was asked to attend a golf course board meeting and shared with them the model we use here at the marina. They have to work with the city and the county because it's 3 different ownerships at the golf course. And so they have to kind of all work together and figure out who gets the money and who operates. And so I went and made a presentation to them. They were grateful. They've actually asked Shane and I to attend a county commissioner meeting with them. Is that Monday? This Monday? Yeah. To discuss it with the commissioners. So it kind of helps. Cities and counties don't often have the kind of public-private partnerships that we do. So that is helpful for me to share with the commissioners that they could view this a different way. They could enter into a lease with the golf club, and then they'd still need to support it, but it wouldn't have to be the same level of support. So anyway, I did was approached by a housing consultant and a developer he works with who was interested in potentially some multi-income housing in Dayton. And so they're interested in 2 different aspects. One would be like finding an old building that needs to be repurposed. They just did it in Boise with an old assisted living center, put in 80, I can't remember how many units. A certain number of units it was a 55 plus place, but some of them were low income rate, some of them were at market rate, and then everything in between. Because they get price breaks, they get tax incentives for doing low income housing. And then they're also interested in bare land. So I have been continuing the discussion with him, and I may have some other things to discuss with you in the future about that. I think that's it for me. Turn it over to Shane.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Jenny, thank you. On the project list, you will see that Project Clean Slate, which is the Dayton Laundry and Clean Slate, or Dayton Laundry and Quilt Shop, excuse me. They are open, running full bore. They now have the quilt shop is open. And so
We're gonna remove it from the list.
we are, yeah,
Done.
it's done. And ribbon cutting,
Ribbon cutting at Dayton News or
all wheels, yes. And so we're just, that's a win for us. We're the ones that navigated them to the Small Business Development Center. They work very closely with Paul. And it didn't hurt that they were, I'm friends of the family. So it was an easy project to help them work their way through.
And Ken relied on Shane a lot.
Yeah.
He really did. It was
A lot of after hours.
good help.
Text messages and phone calls. And so Project Palette is now open and out. It's called The Den. It's in the old bank building. I went down. She had an open house I wasn't able to attend. I went down and met with her. She walked me through the entire project. A lot of technical assistance there. So lending her as much support as we possibly can. She did form a nonprofit. So there's some eligibility for some grant monies there. And she's very open to a lot of that. Project 410, that's a value added ag. We are trying to meet with the similar facility in Milton Freewater in July. Once we're through the big season, the ag season, and it'll just add to the grain cluster initiative out there. Side note, I was talking to Paul. We were on the back stoop there and we were just talking about moving grain and he was asking about the crop malt facility and I said, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's Phil, Chrissy, Fab, Frib, Paul, Phil. It's imperative to have that railroad there. And so similar with this as well. I
So
mentioned
we'll remove that one from the list too now, right?
we will
She's got the
remove,
building.
yeah, she's
Remove-
got the
remove
building and she's up and running, so we'll remove that one as well. One that I mentioned last month and somehow I maybe didn't hit save or something. So I've got Project Dewdrop. It's a retail business working with the Small Business Development Center. Project Big Apple is a food-based business that we are discussing space at Blue Mountain Station with. Also meeting with Small Business Development Center, and then both Project Big Apple and a new one, Project Sprinkle, what we're calling it. Another food-based business that would potentially site at Blue Mountain Station or use our commercial kitchen. And so I have not met with them yet. It's been just high-level communication. So we will keep you updated on the projects. So, okay, that's projects. Any questions? No?
Thank you.
Okay. Events, Dayton Days was successful. I will add a little bit of a caveat is that attendance was down. And we're not saying it's a bad thing, but we are attributing it to the teams being at their state championship runs. And so we felt it. Overall, it was still a good event and it went off without a hitch. And I think I was home by 6:15 on Saturday night. So please mark your calendars for July 18th, which is food stock at Blue Mountain Station from 10 to 3. Lots of food, lots of music, lots of fun activities. Properties. I did print this out just so you are aware. If you want to take one down, pass it around. So I am running a marketing campaign right now. Can you just calm down, Joanne, just a little bit?
Just a bit, just a bit.
So, running a marketing campaign on Facebook right now. Also have put this on what's called Zoom Prospector, which is the state's site selector. So all of our properties, with the exception of Suite K at Blue Mountain Station, because it came up while I
Right,
was
we didn't
gone,
have it,
it's
yeah.
fairly new. So we'll be putting, Suite K up there as well, but we have interest in, is it H? So we have interest in H and again, with the projects
And 5 Port Way.
and 5 Port Way and K. So K may see a seamless. Um, so that would be great. Just going back through my notes here. As Jenny mentioned, knee deep in our reporting to the state for our deliverables and our reports. I've started the what we call deliverable 7, and then I'll have to work on deliverable 8, and then of course all the year end. We are close to meeting all of our yearly targets, so I'm excited to see those numbers flow in on our spreadsheet. And then some advertising I want to just show you real quick. So this this went into this magazine. We met this gentleman at the golf show in Spokane. This is the publication. It goes to about 30,000. It's got 30,000 circulation. This is the book right here that I'm holding up. So it's a really good magazine. It's hit newsstands already, and Tracy's already fielded a call from somebody else that wants to advertise in their magazine or something. So,
Did you say we had got editorial in there
yes,
Okay.
and we were able to get an editorial along with the ad.
that we got to write?
Yeah.
That was good.
So, Claudia and I sat for an interview with Washington Golf, which we ended up with 2 articles on. We got a really good article on Washington Golf. It's kind of it's an online publication, and we'll send you the link. But it also talked about, is it Mike White? The tree at the golf course that Mike White always hit when he was teeing off on something. So fair amount of play from this Washington Golf. Also, they were able to capture drone footage for us. So now we have some really great marketing photography. And then who sent us? Jenny Butler. Jenny Butler sent us a link to an article in the Spokesman Review. It's called Backroads and New Beginnings. Jenny actually posted, I think, on your Facebook.
I put it on All Things Dayton.
On All Things Dayton. Great article. Really great article about Dayton and Waitsburg. So, for sure.
And there's some of those have come out of we've really worked hard the last few years to build a strong relationship with Visit Walla Walla, which makes a difference because they're the ones that have all these travel writers that then we can get them to come to our town. So
yes,
going to those meetings has mattered.
Yeah.
Takes a while to build those relationships.
Yes, it does. And for them to pay attention to us and yeah.
So as part of our workforce development initiative, I sit on the Horizons Grant Committee, which is a subcommittee of the Elevate Committee that Jenny sits on. And so our main goal is to get high school seniors to fill out the FAFSA forms, financial aid. Columbia County is at 58%, which is really a good number. Walla Walla County was at 52%. So we're trending a little bit higher than Walla County. And then, as Jenny said, with the state budget, one of the commentaries I saw basically said brace for impact, because it's not going to be pretty in the next legislative session. And then where do you want to talk about the tourism train?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that under railroad. So yeah, we met with Joe Roberts from Royal Block yesterday. No, whatever day it was.
Monday.
And
Train day.
he had expressed interest in the past in the rail line and some sort of tourism effort, as has Guy Glazier from Visit Walla Walla. So we met and I sent an email out. I included the 2 of you. he's agreed to be a committee chair, then he sent the email and he acted like he wasn't worthy of it, but anyway, the idea would just be to look into the feasibility of, some sort of tourism activity on the line. And we will play a supporting role, the port, of course. He did ask in an email today that I said there would be money for a feasibility study, and I need to correct that. That's not what I said. I said we would be happy to look for money for a feasibility study if that's what the committee decides they want to do. So, I wasn't committing our funds, but just saying we could look. I just don't know. I've never looked for money for that type of feasibility study, so I would have to go through the grant funding Rolodex and see what's out there. So anyway, that's a good, and he's very interested. He has lots of connections, so I'm hoping that'll turn into a good committee. And the two of you will have to decide who wants to
be on it?
who wants to be on it.
Because we both can't.
Both can't be done.
So. Up to you. I'm retired. I could do probably more time, but it doesn't mean I have more knowledge.
I'd like to serve on it too, but
Well, we could rotate.
that might not be good for them.
The only way you could do it together is we'd have to treat it like we do the steering committee where we're noticing the public. Yeah, because it's a, you're both together. Yes, yeah. So, and you are talking about it's a port project. So, yeah,
How about we think about it?
that's fine. Yep, you don't have to make a decision this minute, so. Okay,
That's all I have. Any
Okay.
questions?
That's it.
I know, slacking.
Do we need a break before we go into the comp plan, or is everybody
it's up to you.
okay? 5-minute break.
Okay, sounds good.
I need a 5-minute. break.
Okay.
I know that I need a little sunscreen.
Yeah, I don't remember that part
For
last
those
year.
of you online, I'm just gonna pause the recording just so we're not recording blank space.
I've got a sunblock.
Need some
We're adjourned.
All right.
you.
Bye, Jeff. Thank you.
Seemed a little long. to me, but We had a lot of information.
Well, you guys have an awesome dinner.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna jam. I am tired. I want to hit the bed.
All right.
So,
See.
Oh, they left.
yeah, McNeil Island.
It's left.
Well, where's
But the
that?
other piece.
McNeil Island is where we used to, so. McNeil Island is an interesting piece of property. So it was like Stillicum.
Okay.
So you leave this dock at Stillicum and you go take a ferry. And that's where the old federal prison used to be. The state of Washington took it over
I transcribed it.
way back.
Oh, yeah.